One of the most common questions I'm asked when talking about the YouTube platform is how do you rank your videos in YouTube search? Now, most of the advice I hear on this is either out of date or not entirely accurate. So in this video, I'm going to share 10 tips that can really help you improve the visibility of your videos in search. But on top of that, I'm also going to share a key point that a lot of video marketers don't tell you, and this can make a huge difference to how your channel performs. My name is Luke Sherran, and I've been making videos on YouTube since 2015, both as a video marketer and as a creator myself. And when I first started out, I was really interested in search traffic and how my videos ranked for specific key terms. And that's because I assumed that organic traffic was probably the biggest traffic source. However, in reality, organic search traffic can be a comparatively small traffic source on a YouTube platform, with the biggest sources being suggested video traffic or browse features. To put this into context, I have a video that ranks number 2 and number 3 for some very competitive key terms, and this has provided hundreds of daily views over the last 4 years. So this video now has over 250,000 organic views in total, which is great. However, videos on the same channel that get traffic from suggested and browse features gained over 250,000 views in just 48 hours. Now, I know that I have cherry-picked that data, but I'm just trying to illustrate the most powerful aspect of the platform. So this is the key point I alluded to earlier. Search traffic can be great, but I recommend not focusing on search traffic alone, and rather optimizing videos as a whole to increase their reach and discoverability, and this includes traffic from search. Now, if you've seen previous videos I've created for the Semrush channel, you may notice a lot of crossover in how you optimize videos and how you get videos to rank. So here are the tips. So number 1 is to optimize for the viewer. Now, this is a bit of a general tip, but it's an important one that applies to almost all the points that follow. The reason you need to optimize for the viewer is because the YouTube algorithm is based primarily around user behavior metrics. Now, what this means is that you need to optimize for humans rather than the algorithm. Optimizing your video in this way will also help improve its organic search performance. So when creating your video content and when crafting your thumbnail, title, and description, think from the perspective of the viewer first and not the algorithm. Optimization is all about the viewer, and it all starts with getting them to click on your video. Number 2 is keyword research. So like any form of SEO, you need to start with your keyword research to identify opportunities based on search volumes and the level of competition, and it should be done before you make your video. Now, where possible, I would recommend focusing on a single key term per video and focusing on a long tail variation. These are a little bit easier to rank for, but also increase the relevance of your video to the user, making them more likely to click and watch the video. Now, click-through rate and watch time are really important metrics, which I'll cover in more detail shortly. Regarding discovery optimization, Google states the goals of YouTube's search and discovery system are twofold: to help viewers find the videos they want to watch and to maximize long-term viewer engagement and satisfaction. So the more specific you can be with your search term, the better. To put this into context, let's take this example. So let's say that you wanted to create a video that would rank for the key term SEO. Now, not only would this be very competitive, but it's also extremely broad. Now, the intent of the searcher could be someone looking for SEO as a service, educational content around SEO, SEO news updates, or even just someone wanting to find out what the term SEO actually means. Now, let's say that you theoretically crafted your thumbnail and title in such a way that you managed to get the click for a lot of those queries. But if your content doesn't match their search intent, the viewer will bounce off that video and it will have a very low watch time. So overall, trying to rank for really broad terms in that way is very difficult. But on the flip side, the more specific you can be with your search term, the more likely you are to have a high click-through rate and a high watch time. So instead of just SEO, if you had a really specific term such as SEO for e-commerce websites 2020, you're likely to drive far more engagement from that query and be a lot more successful. Additionally, the best keywords are often about new or emerging topics that are high demand but low supply. Now, if the supply of videos for these topics is low, users will have no other option than to watch your video, which is great for click-through rate and watch time, and this can get your video established early. Number 3 is formatting your tags. So historically, tags were really important on YouTube, and some well-crafted keyword stuff tags could probably serve you pretty well. However, in terms of search, tags really only play a small role in providing relevance and context to your video. In fact, it's suggested that tags are only really important within the first 24 hours after publishing a video when talking about search traffic. And this is because when you publish a video, YouTube doesn't have any contextual data about it. What YouTube wants to know is if it serves your video to a viewer for a specific term. Do they click on it? How long do they watch it for? And ultimately, how satisfied is the viewer with the video? Now, once it's collected enough data on your video, your tags will be largely disregarded. But it's rare that you would focus on search traffic alone when talking about YouTube. We consider optimizing videos as a whole, and there are other roles that tags can be very useful for. Now, when talking about creating our tags, we have 500 characters to play with. Now, I used to try and make sure that I used all the available characters, but if you only stick to relevant keywords and variations without stuffing or spamming, then in most cases, you'll probably use around 300 to 400 of those characters. So coming back to our previous example of SEO for e-commerce websites 2020, our video specific tags might look something like this. SEO for e-commerce websites 2020, SEO for e-commerce websites, SEO e-commerce websites, e-commerce SEO 2020, e-commerce website SEO, e-commerce website SEO 2020. Now, this makes up approximately 150 characters, but in addition to video-specific keywords, I would also include what we call topic-specific keywords and channel-wide keywords. Now, this is less to do with search and more to do with optimization as a whole, but this might include an additional 150 to 250 characters, so we're on track for the 300 to 400 characters in total. Number 4 is descriptions. So similar to tags, from a search perspective, the description plays a relatively small role when it comes to ranking your video, but there are some important considerations. Additionally, when it comes to trying to rank your videos for competitive terms, I like to make sure that I've taken advantage of every opportunity available. So essentially making sure you've ticked every available box. So first is that the opening paragraph of your description provides the most relevance. So if you can include your key terms within it, that's great. But more importantly, however, the first 200 characters of your description are pulled through to the search results. Now, this provides an opportunity to further entice a potential viewer to click on your video. So again, focus on the user first and think about what you can say in that paragraph to encourage the click through. Don't put broad content here, or more commonly what we see a lot is the title just being repeated. Think of this content as something to support the title and the thumbnail to convince the viewer, hey, this is the video that you need. Now, within your description, you can include up to 3 hashtags, and these will automatically get pulled through to just above your video title. Now, whether or not you choose to use hashtags is up to you, but there are arguments for and against using them. So arguments for using hashtags are that it's another method of discovery. It's another opportunity in which someone can find your video, and it uses a system that's different to normal organic search, which may have some additional value. It's also a relatively new feature, at least contextually, which means potentially a lot less competition for those hashtags. Arguments against hashtags are that hashtags are simply another exit point for your video. Now, we know that watch time is the most important ranking factor on the YouTube platform, and if a viewer sees a hashtag that piques their curiosity, they could end up watching your video for a much shorter amount of time. Additionally, if you only have one video using that hashtag, the user won't find another one of your videos by clicking it. So the caveat to using hashtags, in my opinion, would be to use a unique hashtag that shows mostly only your results. Either way, you need to make a judgment call on what's best for you, probably on a video by video basis. Number 5 is optimizing your thumbnails. So if you've seen my previous videos, you'll know that this is something I talk about a lot, but the right thumbnail can have a huge impact on overall video performance. Now, looking at some of my videos that rank really well for competitive terms, all of them have a click-through rate of at least 5%. Now, when it comes to click-through rate, a good percentage will be different for every channel and every topic. So as a general rule, just try to improve your click-through rate with every new video that you publish. So if your last video has a click-through rate of 3%, see if you can improve it to 3.1 or 3.2% in your next video. Or of course, if you can go much higher than that, then do that. Now, if your click-through rate is low, then it's very unlikely that YouTube will continue to serve your content for that search term. It will prioritize videos that have a higher click-through rate and good average view durations. Now, thumbnail optimization is a huge topic, and so if you want me to cover this in more detail, then comment below and we can make a dedicated video on this. But while thinking about click-through rate, you have to make sure your content matches the expectations set by your thumbnail. What this means is that your thumbnail needs to be enticing and clickable, but also your content needs to be able to deliver on the promises made by the thumbnail. If not, then your watch time on that video will be low, as viewers will likely just feel tricked and just bounce straight off the video. In order to rank, your video needs to deliver both a good click-through rate and good watch time, and there's more on this in just a moment. Number 6 is optimizing your titles. So when it comes to writing titles, the focus shouldn't be on SEO, but making sure you get the viewer to click. This means if you can include your key terms in your titles, then great, but don't do it at the expense of writing a good title. It's important to make sure your titles are user-centric, and this means that the first part of the title is for the user and designed to create interest or to pique their curiosity. The second part of the title can be more for the machine, as in the YouTube algorithm. Now, YouTube provides up to 100 characters for you to write your title, but where possible, try and stay under 60 characters if you can. This means that your title is succinct, and YouTube should display your complete title within the search results. Just remember that getting the click is far more important than SEO relevance when writing your titles. Number 7 is edit your captions. So every time you upload a video, YouTube will auto-generate captions. Now, to be fair, their system is pretty sophisticated, and for myself personally, I would say that the captions are generally around 90 to 95% accurate, which is pretty impressive. Now, YouTube will use these auto-generated captions to help understand the content of your video. So accuracy of your captions is really important. Now, even with my 90 to 95% accuracy, there are things that auto-generated captions struggle with. Generally speaking, these are things like names, but there have been instances when I've been pretty horrified as to how I've been interpreted. If you've been incorrectly interpreted, this can be a problem, and it can be harmful if it thinks you've said something really bad. So if you have a strong accent or you talk very quickly, then there will likely be a higher degree of error with your captions. What I recommend is using the editor to correct the auto-generated captions rather than trying to create new ones from scratch, and this can save you a lot of time. Number 8 is try to maximize watch time. So again, if you've seen my previous videos about YouTube optimization on the Semrush channel, I always talk about watch time. It's the most important metric on the YouTube platform, and it's the single biggest ranking factor, as it's the best measure YouTube has in understanding the quality of your content, and it's the most difficult to manipulate and gamify. YouTube even states that they optimize search and discovery for videos that increase watch time on their site. Additionally, they posted in their creator blog that they've just started adjusting the ranking of videos in YouTube to reward engaging videos that keep viewers watching. Reviewing all the videos that I have that are ranked highly in search, the average view duration is at least 45%, but often they are within the 50 to 60% range. Now, I've touched upon some of the ways you can improve your watch time in previous videos, but from a search perspective, it comes back to what I said about having a single focus for your video with a long tail keyword. If you use this approach, then it's much easier to match the viewer intent with your content. The closer you can match the intent, the greater the click-through rate is likely to be for your video and the better watch time you're likely to have. If you can satisfy search intent with a high retention video, this will have a huge impact on how your video performs in the search results. Number 9 is aim for maximum session time. As well as having high watch time, overall session time and the average number of views per viewer are really important metrics. Now, what YouTube wants to know is, did you create just one good video, or have you created lots of great content that is essentially binge-worthy? So again, this is another behavior metric used by YouTube to try and determine both the quality of your content and ultimately the level of satisfaction of the viewer after they've watched your videos. Now, ideally, you would have strategically created a data relationship between all your videos so that your own content is suggested to the viewer when they're watching a video from your channel. Now, this can be complex to do. So here are some tips to help increase your session time and average views per viewer. Number one is to use in-video optimizations, and this includes links to other relevant content or playlists as either cards or end screens. Number two is to include links to other relevant content in your descriptions and pinned comments. Thirdly, when you share your content, share it as part of a playlist. This increases the likelihood that viewers will watch multiple videos from your channel in a single session. And finally, think long-term about your content strategy. Long watch time sessions can be had by organizing your content and creating series playlists that have a connection between videos. So, for example, consider a new series where someone creates a new PC from scratch, and then each episode they add a new component such as the motherboard or the CPU, the graphics card, as something that can be followed and watched long term. Number 10 is engagement and viewer signals. So just to be clear, in YouTube terminology, engagement primarily refers to watch time and average view duration, which, as we've talked about, are the most important metrics on the platform. Viewer signals are what most people consider to be engagement, and these are things like likes, dislikes, comments, and viewer feedback. Viewer signals play a part in video discovery, and YouTube states that these can help them tune their recommendations. But it's not just a numbers game. Having 10 likes on your video is great, but YouTube wants to know where those likes have come from. For example, out of all the people that like the video, what gender are they? How old are they? Where are they geographically? And most importantly, what videos do they normally watch and like? Based on who has liked the video, this can help the algorithm understand who else to serve or recommend the video to, which will be other users that match the same profiling. Comments absolutely help in lots of ways, so encouraging comments by asking questions in your video can be very useful. And there's also some possible relevance from comment contextualization. So, do the comments your video has received contain keywords based around your content? Ultimately, however, all these viewer signals and engagement metrics help YouTube determine viewer satisfaction. And if satisfaction of viewers appears to be high, it will improve your performance in search. So to summarize, these are the 10 YouTube optimization tips I provided to help you rank your videos in YouTube search. Again, these tips will not only help you improve the visibility of your videos in search, but also to improve the general discovery of your videos. And this can make a huge difference to how your channel performs. My name is Luke Sherran, and this has been How to Rank Your Videos on YouTube. If you like this content, then check out some of the other YouTube optimization content on the SEMrush channel here.